For this project, we're going to be using worst weight yarn, 10 ply for the UK, 4 ply for the US, and you're going to need mainly yellow. This is kind of a brighter yellow, and also a brown. And you're also going to need just a little bit of black and white for the eyes and the mouth, and just a little bit of blue for his eyes. So mainly what we need is the yellow yarn. Also, you should be able to make a couple of hats out of this, depending on what size you're using. These are 100-gram skeins. Also, you're going to need a 3.5 millimeter hook and a 5 millimeter hook, which is a size H, and 3.5 millimeter hook is a size E. And you're also going to need a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors and at least 5 stitch markers. And that's it. So when you've got those items, we'll get started. Grab your 5 millimeter hook or size H hook, and if you want to make this hat for a size 3 months to 8 months old, then chain 26. And if you want to make this hat for ages 1 through 4 years old, then chain 31. And if you're making this hat for 5 years old or older, chain 36. And I'm making this 5 and up, so I'm going to chain 36. So when you're ready, you want to start, let's get a little closer here. You want to start by single crocheting in the second chain from the hook. So what you did was basically added +1 on the end so that you could single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So though you chain 36, you'll now have 35 stitches. So across this whole way, you'll have 35 stitches. So when you get to the end, whichever size you're doing, adults you'll have 35, 1 to 4-year-olds you'll have 30, and for 3 months to 8 months old hat, you'll have 25. And I'll see you when you get to the end. To the end of my row, I have 35 stitches. And what you want to do now is in that same stitch that you did last, you want to go ahead and put another single crochet, because basically you're going to pivot your work and now you're going to be working in the bottom stitches. So starting off, we're going to put a single crochet in the same stitch that we just did. Now in the next stitch here, we're going to be putting another single crochet. Continue to work those bottom stitches until you get back to the beginning. Back at the beginning. And now what you want to do is go ahead here using one of these middle stitches that run along here, place a marker, just so you know that this is where the beginning of the round starts. I just use another color yarn. You can use whatever. And instead of, as usual, hats, you'd slip stitch in the beginning stitch, what you're going to do is work in one continuous round. So in the first stitch, you just want to go ahead and put 1 single crochet. And then just move on to the next and do 1 single crochet. And after a little while, you'll see how these sides will curl up. So don't worry, it's normal. So what you want to do is keep working around and around and around and just plain old single crochets. If you're making it for 5 and up, then you need to do 22 rows. And if you're doing it for 1 to 4-year-olds, then you need to do this for a total of 20 rows. And if you're making a hat for 3 to 8 months old, then you need to do this for a total of 18 rows. So I'm doing an adult hat, so I'm going to be doing 22 rows. So I'll see you back at the end of my 22nd row. Got my 23rd, I'm on my 22nd row done. I'm on my 23rd. And I cut my yarn here. You do the same when you get to the end of your row. What I did was just cut it a little bit so that I'll have a tail. This is probably a bit much, but I just want to make sure that I have enough to thread and needle and hide my tail. So what I want to do, gather my white yarn now, change to my white. Also, I left a tail to be worked in. Made myself my slip knot further on. So I'm going to slip my white yarn in through my slip knot. Get a little closer here. Then I'm just going to grab my yellow yarn here and pull it tight. And then, leaving my tails here to be worked in by my tapestry needle, I'm just going to start with my single crochets with my white. We need 2 rows of single crochet with the white. So do 2 rows of white single crochet, and I'll see you back here in a moment. I've got to the end of my white row. I have 1 stitch left before the end, and what I'm going to do is go in through this last stitch and then grab my brown yarn, which I also made the slip knot where I have some tail to be worked in later, and I'm going to pull my brown yarn through my 2 white loops. Pull the white a little snug just to make sure it's not gonna look funny. Again, leave yourself some tail to be worked in later. And now we're going to be working with our brown. Be working 3 rows of single crochets using brown. So when you get done with your 3 rows, I'll see you back here. Okay, my last stitch here. What you want to do in the last stitch is just do a slip stitch. And tighten it up like that. Then cut your yarn where you have some tail to be worked in. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 just to give it that extra knot. Okay. Now what we're going to do now is mark our ear flaps. If you're making for a size 3 to 8 month old, mark out 10 stitches. But for all other sizes, mark out 12. So what you do is you take the corner and you count out 12 stitches. So this is 2, 4. I'm counting is in 2s. I'm counting both rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So those are my 12 stitches. I'm going to put 1 marker marking one side of the stitch, and a marker marking the other. And then grab your brown yarn again. Of course, do that for both sides. When you've got both sides marked, leaving yourself a bit of tail to be worked in later, make your slip knot. Start by attaching your yarn. You can either do a single crochet attach, or you can slip stitch and chain 1, but you still need to do a single crochet. So if you do the slip stitch chain 1, you're still going to have to put your first single crochet here, or just slip stitch your anyway. So you're going to be single crocheting all the way to your next marker. For a total of 12 stitches. So just crochet until you get to, and do the last one in this space. And count your stitches, make sure you have the right amount. 10, 12. Okay. What you want to do next is chain 1, turn your work, then single crochet in each of the 12 stitches. again, you want to chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to start our decreases on our ear flap. In the first decrease, we're going into the first stitch, draw up a loop, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, then pull through all 3 loops, and then you want to single crochet across. If you're doing, look here, if you're doing for size 3 to 8 months, you'll have 8 stitches in between, and if you're doing like me, you'll have 10. So single crochet 10, eight, that's 9, 10. Okay. Turn your work, and again we're going to do a single crochet decrease using the first 2 stitches, and then a single crochet decrease using the last 2 stitches. Middle stitches you just single crochet, and you're going to continue to do this until you have only 2, until you have 4 stitches where you'll be doing decrease, decrease. So this row here, just single crochet until you get to the end, last 2 stitches, and then last 2 stitches you do a decrease. Then chain 1, turn, begin with the single crochet decrease, and again you're going to be ending the row with the single crochet decrease. So just continue doing this pattern until you get to the very tip of the ear flap. You get done and you have your last 2 decreases on the end. Chain 1, leave yourself some tail to work in later, tighten it up, and then do the same for the other side. When you have both your ear flaps done, we can continue to start to make the face, and I'll show you how to do that now. Make the eyes, still using your 5mm hook, grab your white yarn and chain 2. Now in the second chain from the hook, we're going to be putting 8 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And in our first stitch of the round, we're going to be putting 2 single crochets. And put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. And at the end of this round, you should have 16 stitches. And I usually don't mark it, I usually just keep counting. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And now, first stitch of the round, we're going to put 2 single crochets. The next stitch, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet. Now we're going to repeat that pattern over and over again. Put 2, and then 1. At the end of the round, you should have 24 stitches. So far, I did 6 stitches, so this is going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. When you got your 24 stitches, go into the next stitch, slip stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn, leaving some tail to sew it onto the hat. That's going to be the white part of the eye, but we still have to make our pupil. So grab your black yarn and still using our 5mm hook. It's very simple. Just chain 2 and put 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch into the beginning stitch, chain 1, and leave yourself some tail because you're going to be using it to close up the hole later on. Okay, now we need our blue yarn to make the color of the eye. You don't need a long tail to begin this one. And attach it to one of the single crochets. And now, using your blue yarn, you want to do a single crochet attachment, which is just pull up another yarn, another loop, pull through 2, go into the same stitch, single crochet. We're going to be putting 2 single crochets in each stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we want to get into our first stitch of the round and slip stitch. Chain 1, leaving some tail to sew your eyeball on. And what I do here, grab a tapestry needle, first off I want to cut some of this black of the smaller tail just so it doesn't stick out. I'm going to thread my black first, and what I want to do is going in through one side. I'm going to pull my yarn up through, then I'm going to come back down this other side and do the same thing. Go through one side, go through the other. You don't want to make it tight. You want it to be loose. You just want to pull that together a little bit so you don't have that hole in the middle anymore. Once you've done that, giving yourself just this little tail here so it doesn't come unraveled very easily, cut your yarn. Then now you want to thread the blue part. Center it as best you can. And then I just start sewing my blue to the center of my white. Okay, I've got it sewed onto my white here. What I'm going to do is just go through a stitch in the back, not pulling it all the way through. I'm going to be leaving a little bit of a loop here. Thread my needle through, tighten it. Do that again. Lost my needle here, so I'm just going to pull it through, tighten it. do it a couple times, and then what I do is I go through the bottom up to the top where there's blue, pull it up through, and I'm just going to cut my yarn as close as I can to it. And that's your eye. Make 2 of those. Next, we need to make our nose. For this, we're actually going to need our 3.5 millimeter hook. And take your yellow yarn, or your size E hook, and what you want to do is chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now on the second chain from the hook, we want to do our first single crochet. And continue to single crochet in all the stitches. 8 stitches. And when you get to the end here, you want to do like you did at the very beginning when you were making your hat. You want to pivot your work and start working. First you want to put a single crochet in that same stitch, and now you're going to be working single crochet using all these bottom stitches, just like you did at the beginning of the hat. And now you just want to keep working around. So just keep single crocheting 1 more round all the way around of single crochets. Okay, once you've gone around the second row, then you want to go into the first stitch of the round and slip stitch. Then you want to bend your nose in half like this, and now going through each of the top stitches here is what you're going to be using. Just going to be going through the stitches on top and slip stitching. Or just essentially you're sewing the nose closed. Okay, now come to my end, and I'm going to chain, and then leaving a tail to sew it on to your hat. Cut my yarn and pull it. And that's how you make the nose. Now I'm going to show you really quick using the same 3.5 millimeter hook. Show you how to make the teeth of SpongeBob. What you want to do is make your slip knot and then chain 3. Still using my eye hook. Now go into the second chain from the hook, do a single crochet, then do a single crochet in the last chain, then chain 1, turn, then you're going to want to do a single crochet in each of the stitches. I'm just going to grab my tail to hide it here. There's 1, then go into the last stitch, single crochet, chain 1, leaving yourself some tail to sew it on the hat. I'm just going to cut this excess tail there. I'm going to show you how to sew all this stuff on the hat now. Get my hat here. And your tapestry needle. You want to try to get them in the center as best as you can. But leave some for the hat, because when you put it on your head, or anybody's head, it's going to flatten out the top. So you don't want your eyes like up here, because it's going to be on the top. So you want to kind of have a bit of a forehead here for the hat to stretch. So when you've got your eyes about where you want them, and your nose, just make sure you have enough for your mouth here where you want it. And I think that's good. So now that we know this is a good place, I thread my needle. And what I like to do is get something to put underneath my hat so that I can sew. Get a book, or I'm going to get a DVD case here, put it inside my hat, so that I won't, when I sew, I don't go all the way to the bottom. I'm going to move my other eye. And what I'm going to do is go in a little bit of the stitch here. See, I'm just going through stitch. I'm not going all the way through the hat. That way it's going to leave a nice, pretty finish on the other side. You won't be able to see the stitching. So sew on both your eyes, and I will be back here in a moment, making my embroidery knots to fasten to make my knot. And then I'm going to come up through the white part of the eye, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Now the nose. Now we're going to sew our nose on. What you do, you want it to be kind of tilted up. So line it up the best you can. First off, you just need to get it on the hat. Pull through. And again, come up and grab another part of the nose. There's the first top two, and it's kind of up now, so we don't want to mess with that too much. Put one more stitch down at the bottom here. I'm just going to repeat a couple of more stitches going the top part of the nose. I'll turn it inside out. And I'm going to come up through the nose, pull up, catch your yarn. And now you want to get your smaller hook and finding a place where, because SpongeBob usually. And now you want to get your black yarn, make a slip knot using your smaller needle. And we want to make kind of a wide smile here. So what I'm going to do is start kind of high up here. Grab a stitch and slip stitch my color on like that. And now what you want to do is start to grab stitches and loosely pull through your loop. Go down, grab some more stitches. Along the way you want to make your smile. And again, loosely pull through your stitch. Down to about here, you kind of want to make somewhat of a straighter line. Till you get to your other side here. And doing the best you can, you can start working your way back up. You want to do this loosely. You don't want to pull tight because then you're going to tighten your hat. You don't want to do that. So just until you have it even and you're happy with the smile, then just slip the stitch, chain one. This is my chain one here. And cut your yarn. And then you want to grab your teeth. Try to get them to be facing the same way. Because they look the best when they're facing the same way. Put a little gap in between. Find the center. Grab your tapestry needle. And I think they look good here, so I'm going to remove one tooth. Pick up my hat here. I'm going to go from one side to the next. And the same way with this. I'm going to go down to each corner just to make sure that it's going to be secure. And once I'm happy with it, I'm going to turn it over, do my embroidery knots again. Behind the tooth so that it doesn't show through. Then you can come up through the tooth again. Pull up and cut your yarn. And do the same thing for the other tooth too. Now for the eyelashes, I just cut myself a piece of yarn here. Thread my tapestry needle on one side. I'm going to put a knot on the other end so it doesn't come through very easily. Then you want to kind of get under the eye just a little bit where the yellow is, but where you can't see where the stitch begins because the eye will cover it. Pull up. Then I would say skip about 3 stitches and go into the 4th. And then one more time. And that's how you get the eyelashes on there. And you can hide it where the eyeball is. Do your embroidery knots to tie it back here. And you can do the same, pulling it back here in the back. Behind the eye. Do a couple of knots. And do the other one the same way. My tails for my mouth is I'll just pull them inside the hat, and then using the stitches underneath, I'll just feed it through to hide them in the back. Everything is sewn on, and I went ahead and hit all my tails. I suggest you do that before you do the last part of the hat. And what you want to do for the final detail of the hat, get your embroidery needle, and I still have it attached to my yarn at the moment. And what you want to do is go in, there's 3 brown rows that you did. You want to go through the middle, using the middle of the rows. And I guess I'm going to come up from the bottom here. You just want to pull up quite a bit of yarn. Like I said, my black yarn is still attached. And you want to skip, I would say, go into the 3rd. So here's where I went in 1, 2, 3. I think, let me see how that looks. Then it's on a smaller hat. Oh, looks good. So whatever you go over here, you want to skip that amount of rows here. So if you went over 4, skip 4 before you do your next. I went through 3, so now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, skip 3. Then I'm going to come up. Then my count over 3, 1, 2, 3, and go in. Only using this middle brown row. Okay, when you made it all the way around the hat, it's very important that you stretch out this bottom stitches, because if not, they're going to make it tighter for you. Unless you want to have more of a rim going around your hat. If it's a little loose or something, then this is a place where you can add a little tightness if you want. Just by pulling on these strings just a little. It's up to you. When you get done, you can tie your knots here. And then work them in. And then that's it. That's the hat. If you want to add tassels or something to the ear flaps, and I bet it would look great. So this has been the tutorial that shows you how to make this Bob the Sponge hat. Thanks for watching, and I'll have this tutorial, I should say the pattern, for all the sizes and everything on my site. So feel free to go there and you'll have pictures and everything else. Please don't forget to like and comment on the video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.